What is up, F3 followers and wrestling fans? You are watching the F Breath of Wrestling and Entertainment here on YouTube.com. My name is JC Styles, and I am back with the TNA Impact review for February 28, 2013. Pretty good night on Impact. Gonna get right down to it, get this uploaded for you guys, and call it an early night. Bully Ray starts off the show, talks about the tour in the UK and how friendly the people are over there, and that it is good to be back in the Impact Zone. He talks about the Aces and Eights and how they will get theirs at Lockdown when they take on Team TNA. He then introduces Jeff, and they talk about their matches against one another throughout their career. Bully says he feels that he is only getting this match because he's the son-in-law of Hulk Hogan. Then Daniels and Kaz interrupt. Daniels winds up getting his drink thrown in his face. Bully said, then there was a brawl. Bully then says after the brawl, if you guys want a match so bad, me and Jeff tonight against you two. We then find out later in the night that the match was booked. We then see Sting backstage going over the list of roster names for Team TNA and sees Magnus sitting next to him. And Magnus says, you guys, this company took a chance on a 22-year-old kid. I grew up, and I am looking for a chance to prove myself. Sting then says, I'll consider it. We then go into Knockouts action, and the Knockouts Championship on the line when Velvet successfully retained her Knockouts Championship over Tara. We then see Aries backstage talking on the phone with Robert Roode. Then Chavo and Hernandez come up, and Chavo kind of suckers Austin Aries into a match with Hernandez later in the night. We then see Kenny King backstage running his mouth. Kenny says that he is the X Division and that he's planning on confronting RVD. When he confronts RVD, he winds up making a match where if RVD to put his X Division championship on the line, and if he loses, Kenny is out of the X Division. We then go to the ring and we see Austin Aries pick up the win over Hernandez, which was a pretty good match. Whenever you get a match with Austin Aries, you know it's going to be good. I don't think Austin Aries has ever put on a bad match, and he is wrestling. He is probably TNA's purest athlete. I want to say he is TNA's CM Punk, but without the gimmicks or anything like that, without the straight edge and everything like that. Because if you put Punk and Austin Aries together, you can see that their in-ring style is quite similar. But I digress. This is a TNA video. We see Austin Aries pick up the win over Hernandez. Then we see Sting talking to Joseph Parks backstage, and Joseph Parks is sitting there having lunch, which is a big tray of ribs. Sting then asks Joseph Parks, do you understand what a rib is now? Because the boys in the back kind of put him up and kind of gave him a rib weeks ago on Impact, and Hogan told him to go look up the meaning of the word rib, or have them explain to him the word rib. He then sees Matt Morgan pass in the hallway. He runs after and says, Matt, I know that you've been looking for a chance to show yourself and really get a chance in the company again since you've come back. How would you like to be a part of Team TNA? And then he says, Sting, with all due respect, anyone in bed with Hulk Hogan is guilty by association, and then turns Sting's offer down. We then see the X Division Championship match where Kenny King picks up the win, and we have a new X Division champion when he defeated RVD. Now, this match was a little bit better than the ones they had in recent weeks, but then again, like I've said it, I still stand by it. I couldn't see them having the belt on RVD. Not to take anything away from RVD. RVD is a veteran in this business, and he's been around the block several times. But I know that TNA had a brief period of time where they wanted to take the X Division and make it more, include more mat-based wrestling, exactly with the Austin Aries when he was the X Division champion. He was a well-balanced wrestler, but he also could high fly with the best of them. And we see Kenny King pick up the championship off of RVD. We then see the Aces and Eights come out. Aces and Eights talk about Sting and Hogan. He says, Devon gets on the mic and says that Sting is drinking the juice, the Kool-Aid, if you will, that Hogan has been dishing out over the last several years. We then see Sting come out. He introduces Team TNA, and followed by Sting is Samoa Joe, Storm, Magnus. And then Anderson gets on the mic and says, well, who's your fifth guy? And then he goes, "It's showtime." Anderson says, "I know that's your catchphrase, but who's your fifth guy?" And after back and forth, they show a shot of the ring. And who's standing behind the Aces and Eights? Eric Young. Eric Young returned tonight on Impact, the team with Team TNA in Lethal Lockdown a week from this Sunday. We then go into Gut Check. Evelise Velez and Lady Tappa, who is the niece of the Barbarian from the Warlords. We actually see a pretty good match. Lady D was really, showing why she is the niece of the Barbarian, and Evelise was just really great. She has an MMA style background, and she utilized a lot of that maneuvering in this match. We saw her do some really great transitions in this match, some really good MMA strikes we saw in this match as well. She winds up picking up the win over Lady Tappa. We then see a video update on AJ Styles, who hasn't been seen in months, and we see his wife talking about the story with the girl from last year, with the drinking and the illegitimate baby. I don't honestly remember her name, so I'm sorry for that. But we see them talking with members of his family and friends. Then they're talking to one of AJ's best friends growing up, and then you hear a motorcycle pull in, and AJ comes walking, and hair is all messed up, full face beard, and he looks at the cameras and says, "You guys just don't get it." And he walks out of the house, gets back on the motorcycle, and we see him take off. We then see Robbie E and Robbie T video package from the last several months to year, between the two. Robbie E calls out Robbie T. Robbie T comes out, and just when you think Robbie E is to apologize and try to make amends with Rob Terry, he takes the VIP sign while Rob Terry is in the ring doing the bro off and cracks Robbie T across the face, on the head with it, I should say. Robbie T gets up enraged and again goes after the hightailed Robbie E. We then go into the main event of the night, where we see Hardy and Ray pick up the win over Kaz and Daniels. Now, this was a great match. Jeff Hardy and Bully Ray worked very well together in this match. Very cohesive unit. And it was a change, because from the careers that these guys had working against each other, they made for a very interesting tag team. If Hardy wasn't TNA World Heavyweight Champion and Bully wasn't going for the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, these guys could be tag team champions. That's how well they worked together as a unit. Then post-match, we see Kurt Angle early in the night following the Aces and Eights back to the clubhouse. Kurt Angle then gets into the clubhouse, attacks all the members of the Aces and Eights, and then they find the president. He finds the president sitting at the edge of the table, and these two brawl it out. Then, after he gets him down and cracked him in the head with a bottle, we then see Kurt Angle take the mask off the president, but the president's face is blocked by the table. Then the remaining members of the Aces and Eights jump in to come into the office and jump Kurt Angle, and that's how we end the show. Now, this was a pretty good impact, I have to say. Guys, leave your comments in the comment box below and let me know your thoughts and opinions on what you thought of tonight's TNA Impact if you saw it. And for the Afro brand of wrestling and entertainment, my name is JC Styles, and I will catch you later.